In 1957, the Pollock family's daughters, Joanna 11 and Jacqueline 6, were unalived in a car accident by a drug-impaired driver. A year later, their mother gave birth to twins, Jennifer and Gillian, who displayed uncanny similarities to their deceased sisters, identical birthmarks, knowledge of toys and places they'd never seen, and a fear of cars. They even reenacted the accident in play. These strange behaviors faded around age 5, leaving the family with lasting questions about reincarnation. It was May 1959 in the small town of Hexham near Newcastle in England. 11-year-old Joanna Pollock and her younger sister, 6-year-old Jacqueline, were on their way to church with their friend Anthony when they were struck by an erratic driver. Almost instantly, the two young sisters lost their lives. Anthony, just 9 years old, lost his life while traveling to the hospital. It was later discovered that the driver, a local woman who was under the influence of a number of drugs, had intentionally hit the 3 children after being forcibly separated from her own kids. The case later made headlines throughout Britain, with the woman eventually taken to a psychiatric hospital. Following the demise of Joanna and Jacqueline, the girls' parents, John and Florence Pollock, were devastated. But when Florence later fell pregnant, John became convinced that the 2 girls would be reborn into the family as twins. The couple, who were devout Catholics, often argued over the premise of reincarnation, with Florence strongly rejecting John's beliefs. It was later reported that the couple's entire marriage was even threatened as a result, with Florence almost filing for divorce. There was also no history of twins in either parent's family. Florence's doctor had predicted a single birth, hearing only one heartbeat throughout the pregnancy, meaning the likelihood of twins was low. Against all odds, however, Florence gave birth to twin girls on October 4, 1958. The twins were named Gillian and Jennifer. While the twins were identical, one had birthmarks, which is considered highly unusual. Jennifer had a small birthmark on her left hip, which mimicked a birthmark that Jacqueline had. She also had a birthmark on her forehead, which was similar to a small scar that Jacqueline had in the same spot. When the twins were 3 months old, the family relocated to Whiteley Bay, which is around 50 kilometers east of Hexham. As the girls got older, however, it became clear that Gillian and Jennifer seemed to remember Hexham in detail, despite not growing up in the small town. The family returned to Hexham when the girls were 4. The twins pointed out and named landmarks they hadn't seen before, such as the school Joanna and Jacqueline had attended, the Hexham Abbey, and the playground their deceased sisters loved. The pair even seemed to know the way to the playground without having ever seen it. Likewise, the twins were also able to identify their late sister's toys by name. Although Florence had tore the late girl's toys out of sight, the twins started to ask for certain toys back. In fact, it was almost as if the twins remembered the toys as their own. They were able to name their toys by their names previously given to them, and they even divided the toys up exactly as their sisters did. They also referred to the fact that the toys came from Santa Claus, which was true. Both twins had recurring nightmares about being hit by a car and displayed visible fear near moving vehicles. Florence and John also noticed that the twins had very similar personalities when compared to their older sisters. Just as Joanna was very protective of her younger sister, Jacqueline, Gillian seemed more mature than her twin sister. Gillian, who was born 10 minutes before Jennifer, often looked after her twin, much like Joanna looked after Jacqueline. The parents also noted that the twins even enjoyed the same games and foods as their siblings. For the first few years of the twins' lives, Florence continued to reject John's suggestions that the pair had been reincarnated. After finding the twins talking about the car accident, however, she changed her mind. On one occasion, Florence overheard the girls playing a game where they recreated their sister's accident. Gillian was cradling Jennifer's head, telling her, "The blood's coming out of your eyes. That's where the car hit you." On another occasion, Gillian pointed to Jennifer's birthmark on her forehead and told her that is the mark Jennifer got when she fell on a bucket. The case attracted much academic attention, including from Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist and researcher at the University of Virginia School of Medicine who was interested in reincarnation. Dr. Stevenson interviewed the twins and their parents in 1964 and included them in his book Children Who Remembered Previous Lives. In his report, he acknowledged the twins displayed some behaviors that were difficult to explain. Despite this, the case of the Pollock twins remains controversial. While it's long been cited as proof of reincarnation, many people have argued that the twins' memories may have been influenced by their four older brothers. Others have suggested the story was a horse and that the parents were involved. However, John and Florence claim they didn't speak to the twins about their deceased sisters until they were older and maintained their memories were genuine. Family members later gave conflicting accounts, some claiming the story was fabricated, while Jennifer, one of the twins, said she believes about 80% in the possibility of reincarnation.